Hey, it's Declan Ryan from whoisdeclanryan.com, and in these next series of videos I'm actually going to be giving my take on a book by Dr. Maxwell Maltz called Psycho-Cybernetics. So this is not a review of the book, it's just my own takes from this. Now this is going to be the third time that I've read this book, just because it's so full of step-by-step instruction, if you like, really clear instruction on how to set your mind in order, for want of a better word. Now, Maltz starts off the chapter just by referring to the fact that everybody has a blueprint. Now, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you're conscious of it or subconscious, your blueprint will dictate exactly how events or your reactions to events will turn out. You've by and large either got a success blueprint or a failure blueprint. So regardless of what you're doing, you will never outperform your blueprint or your self-image. He also goes on, as many other writers have referred to, one of the most important discoveries in psychology over the last 100 years is the discovery of the self-image. Now, once that was actually discovered, that led to the realization of things like your mental blueprint. This means that, bizarrely enough, you can be doing all the things right. If you have a success blueprint, you can just be almost pretty much coasting through life. Your subconscious mind is telling you always that you're going to succeed, you're going to have a good outcome to whatever challenge that you are placed in front of you, and by and large you will always overcome any obstacle, because your subconscious mind will always put things that way and always seek to prove what your mind believes. Conversely, if you have a negative, if you have a failure type mechanism, you can be doing everything right. You can be doing everything that they told you, whether this be your company or your sales manager or instruction books or whatever. So you can be doing everything right, but your mind will find a way it's looking for ways to fail. It's looking for ways to trip you up. Now the good news is that you're not stuck with your blueprint. The good news is that you can actually change that, and this is fundamental to you finding success in whatever goal you're looking for. Now, the title of the book, Psycho-Cybernetics, Maltz came up with in 1960, and it's a correlation between psychology and comparing the brain to a computer. He refers to the fact that all people have a life instinct in them. Now that life instinct is always looking for health and happiness and to propel you forward. He also refers to when people, for example, when people retire, they stop looking for that life instinct, and a lot of people then they go into gradual decline because they're not keeping themselves active. Now the life instinct he also refers to is your auto-success mechanism. Now the auto-success mechanism is like a goal-searching mechanism, like a guided missile. If that has a goal, it will aim towards that goal and keep moving towards it. So the good thing about that is that if you program it correctly, it will aim and hit the target. But you have to feed it the correct information. If you're feeding it negative information, then it will just as easily become not your auto-success mechanism, but your auto-failure mechanism. Okay, so what got Maltz onto this course of study was that he was originally a plastic surgeon. He only wrote his book on Psycho-Cybernetics in his 60s. So he was doing this as very much as a second career. This is on top of a lifetime of work treating people with sometimes imaginary maladies. They would have maybe a bump on their nose, or they'd have scars, or they'd have some kind of facial disfigurement which was either sometimes real or sometimes just imagined. The reason that he says that is because many of his patients would leave and they'd be feeling fantastic. Their personality would be restored. They'd feel confident with their new image, and everything would be great. But a large proportion, a proportion of his patients would say that they noticed nothing different, even though photographic evidence would contradict that, and he did in many occasions a very, very fantastic job. They couldn't see it. And so he started looking into the psychological connection between people's perceptions of themselves and their actual, how they appeared to everybody else. So this led him to the conclusion that there must be something governing why people are, some people are succeeding and some people are not. In the same way he referred to psychiatrists and psychologists just constantly as being accepting abnormalities. For example, people with a predisposition to depression or to other kind of things that get them down, as being so wrapped up in what's abnormal about people, instead of concentrating on how those things can be changed. So in short, this is just the first chapter. He covers quite a lot of ground. What I got from it was that here's the beginning to a pathway of a program of study which has worked for countless thousands and millions of people. It's still a book which sells phenomenally today. So I'm looking forward to getting to grips with all the other things that he shares in the book. There's a fantastic foreword by Dan Kennedy, which is really worth reading in itself. The one other note that I got out of it was really quite poignant, and it's has a lot to do with how the blueprint was formed, and that is hearing something either told directly to you or that you might have overheard from an authoritative voice. I maybe should have mentioned this just a little bit earlier, but for example, if you're constantly told by a parent or by a teacher, oh, you're no good, you'll never amount to anything, that even though that information may no longer serve you, it stays in the back of your mind, and that can actually govern you without you realizing it throughout your life. He quotes this girl who overheard her parents saying, she was taking piano lessons, and she was actually a very good piano player, and she overheard her parents saying, oh, she's got clumsy, she's got big hands, and yes, our daughter will never be a piano player. And this girl really took this to heart, and so her piano lessons deteriorated, her performance deteriorated, because she absorbed this programming, and she just thought, that's it, I can't do piano. I've heard it from the most authoritative source there is, my parents, and so even that through her adult life, she avoided all kinds of things to do with her hands. I can think of many people that I know that this has affected as well, who were just unaware of this kind of mental blueprint. So it's the power of hearing something from an authoritative voice, which really resonates, and which can carry people into their adult lives and their adult kind of programming. So that's the end of chapter 1, really. I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, then join me for chapter 2. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. And there is a full blog on this also at whoisdeclanryan.com. The link should be down there in the description. And if you're on my blog, then I hope you enjoyed reading it. Any comments would be much appreciated. Meantime, make it a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.